You don't use steroids. Yeah?
No.
And clearly, there's a very big difference between me and you.
Mm-hmm.
So, to make it clear, that does not mean you don't have steroids. You have them. Yeah. You have them. You manufacture them in your body, down there, in your head, everywhere. The biggest pharmacy in your head, the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, they produce a lot of steroids. Hormones, peptides. Yeah. Steroid is basically a hormone, and hormones give instructions to your body, specific parts of the body, to become that which your DNA intended them to be. Now, people fail to understand the fact that the anabolic steroids that are manufactured out there, the parent hormone is testosterone. The parent hormone was testosterone. It is made from a cholesterol molecule and the cholesterol molecules are the ones that you eat every day. Olive oil, peanuts. All steroids are hormones. All hormones are not steroids.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you have other hormones like growth hormone, insulin, you have prolactin, you have neurotransmitters that are not hormones. They are not steroids, but basically they are hormones.
Welcome back to the Shujaa Fitcast. My name is Kanyeki Kamawe. I am the founder of Shujaa Fitness, the brand, a brand where we bring you the tools to unleash the warrior in you and start on your fitness goals. Hopefully improve on even the knowledge that you have by having guests who we have conversations surrounding fitness with. Today we have another guest who we hope to dive into a kind of a controversial topic, but before we begin, I'd just like to mention that we do provide you with a range of services to help you along your fitness goals. For those in Nairobi and you're looking for a simple way to upgrade your home workouts, check out our dumbbells. They're very affordable. Go to our Instagram, DM for your orders. Let us know how else we can serve you. We also provide home gym creation services, so have that conversation with us, see how we can help you out. Today's conversation is somewhat controversial, and we have our return guest who is a very common face at this studio, at the Represented Studio. By now, you've seen a variety of clips or episodes with him featuring is Mr. Anthony Njoroge. Karibu tena.
Thank you.
Yeah, today we are here to discuss the topic of performance enhancing drugs or steroids or PEDs, as some people call them. Before we begin this discussion, just to mention that this show is in no way endorsing or promoting the use of performance enhancing drugs. We have no affiliation in terms of distribution or selling. This is a discussion primarily just for information's sake. A big part of the fitness arena is the elite physiques that we see out there that more often than not are not achieved just by eating regular food and doing the regular everyday thing. We'll hear more from Mr. Anthony about this topic. He's a professional bodybuilder, and he has experience with the use of PEDs, as he's mentioned in other episodes that we've had him here for before. So we'll go deeper and more specific into the issue of steroids. We've touched on it in the other episodes where he was present. However, today now we'll actually hone in on the topic and we'll ask him some specific questions regarding steroids. So without further ado, welcome to this conversation. Again, we're not endorsing the use, we're here to learn. So sit back and enjoy the conversation. Bwana Anthony,
Yes.
Karibu tena.
I am back.
Yes, you're back.
Yeah.
One of the many more times that you'll be back again.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'll always be back here. Represented Studio is my home. And it's where you create content that enlightens those who seek to transform their physiques. And that's why we are here. Thank you so much.
Nice. So let's get into this discussion. There's a lot to talk about. I think the first question, which will help us lay the foundation, is what is an anabolic steroid and how does it work?
Well, to begin with, I'm not a doctor. I don't practice professionally in this area of anabolic steroids. I do not sell steroids. I do not distribute. This podcast is purely here for information purposes. And I will reiterate what you just said. We are here to give people the information. Whatever they choose to do with that information, it's up to them and it's their responsibility. So now on to your question. What is a steroid and how does it work? Bodybuilding and steroids, they go hand in hand. People will always tell you out there that bodybuilding is nutrition, bodybuilding is what, but without the steroids, even that nutrition will not get to where it's supposed to go to give you that change of physique, that look and everything. So the baseline of bodybuilding is basically steroids. Now, I have acknowledged before everyone that I use steroids and I don't use them responsibly. I use them with caution and I use them with concern. You don't use steroids. Yeah?
No.
And clearly, there is a very big difference between me and you.
Mm-hmm.
So, to make it clear, that does not mean you don't have steroids. You have them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have them. You manufacture them in your body, down there, in your head, everywhere. The biggest pharmacy in your head, the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, they produce a lot of steroids. Hormones, peptides. Yeah. Your testicles, they produce testosterone. Yeah. So to say that a person who has never used exogenous are those anabolic steroids that you procure from somewhere and then you administer them via injection, maybe via gel or maybe a patch. That does not mean you don't have steroids because clearly you also have muscle. You're lean. Yeah? You're bald. The reason you're bald is because of steroids. You see? Everything. You have your beard, steroids. You have your broad shoulders, steroids. So, steroids are primordial, meaning they have been produced since the time you are formed in your mother's wombs. Yeah? And it is the steroids that have given you the characteristics that you have until now, your male characteristics. So, oftentimes people hear the topic about steroids and they bash at people like, steroids are bad. Steroids will make your dick fall off. Steroids will make your dick slip. Steroids will make you die of a heart attack. No, people tend to misunderstand this topic surrounding steroids. So today, that's why I'm here to give the right information to the misconceptions out there. I will deconstruct them for the sake of your audience, my listeners, your listeners, and everyone else out there. So, a steroid is a hormone.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah. A steroid is basically a hormone, and hormones give instructions to your body, specific parts of the body, to become that which your DNA intended them to be.
Question: why do we separate hormone and steroid? Why are steroids called steroids? And why don't we just call all of them hormones?
Well, the thing is, all steroids are hormones.
Hormones. Okay.
All hormones are not steroids.
Steroids. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So steroids have a specific purpose, which is what you just said in
Yes.
regards to
specific
growth.
Yes. Steroids are basically hormones that bind at the receptors. And in your body, you have receptors of steroids everywhere. You have different steroids. Like, take for you, for example, you have testosterone. You're producing it in your testicles. Yeah, the Leydig cells. So if today you cut off your balls and held them in the air, you'll be holding something that is illegal or banned. But where did you get it? From your body. You see? Yeah. Now, people fail to understand the fact that the anabolic steroids that are manufactured out there, the parent hormone is testosterone. The parent hormone was testosterone. It is made from a cholesterol molecule and the cholesterol molecules are the ones that you eat every day. Olive oil, peanuts, you have soybeans,
eggs.
Yeah, they begin with that cholesterol molecule. Even those who manufacture steroids in China, the labs, they begin with a cholesterol molecule from the soybean oil. Yes. It is put through chemical reactions until the end product is testosterone.
Yeah.
Now, from that testosterone, there are derivatives of active testosterone. So, all steroids are hormones. All hormones are not steroids.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you have other hormones like growth hormone, insulin, you have prolactin, you have neurotransmitters that are not hormones, that are not steroids, but basically they are hormones. Their mode of action is not like steroid-like. Yeah. A steroid has to be, when you produce testosterone in your body, you have free-roaming testosterone in your blood. Now, when testosterone goes to your liver, it interacts with two enzymes. The first enzyme is aromasin. Aromasin is an enzyme that converts testosterone into estradiol, E2, estrogen. You see? The other enzyme is 5-alpha reductase. It converts testosterone to dihydrotestosterone, the active form of testosterone. And my friend, you're bald, you have lots of it. But then genetics, you have the male pattern baldness genetics, and you have receptors of dihydrotestosterone on your scalp everywhere. So once the receptor is like a padlock. I always tell people it's like a padlock. You have your padlock hanging loosely from your door every time. Anytime you come, you put in the key, you turn the key, you open it. Same thing. A receptor is a padlock. A steroid is a key. Comes, it locks. Once it locks in the receptor, it is now allowed to enter into the cell and issue specific instructions for which you have the DNA for. Maybe you have the DNA for male pattern baldness.
Comes from my mom's
Yeah. So, by the fact that you're bald tells you have steroids in your body. But have you ever injected steroids?
Nope.
No. So, this conversation of steroids and everything, everybody who is in the bodybuilding industry, whether they have ever used exogenous steroids, they need to know that they already have steroids in them.
So this actually, to link it to something that maybe more of the general public might be more aware of, and in a way I see people talk about it, the mystery behind it, I see it bleed into other things regarding fitness, things like supplements. People say, there's people who don't know anything about supplements. They're like, supplements are bad. They are like, it's not a natural way of gaining muscle. So they'll say, because they'll see the ripped bodybuilders promoting the big way, and they'll automatically be like, that's that illegal stuff they take. But because I think they see, because it's whey protein, it's protein.
Yeah.
We have protein in the food, regular food we eat. We have protein in our bodies.
For sure.
But when they see it extracted
and
into
packaged.
a product and packaged and promoted in a way that is linked to now the bodybuilding culture and stuff, I think that's where now it starts to get...
There's a disconnect.
Yeah. I find that there's that similarity.
What people need to understand is one thing. Any bodybuilder who does this professionally and is out there promoting the use of supplements, the supplement is not the elephant in the room. The supplement is not what gave them that body. Yeah. It is steroids. Steroids, peptides, and adaptogens, and maybe SAMs. SAMs are like supplements. I don't talk about them so much. So people out there need to understand one thing. That packaged whey protein, that amino compound, or that creatine, they will never make you look like a mass monster. I always come here and tell people, the last time I used whey protein was like in 2018. Last time I bought a whey protein. The last time I used creatine was this year when I experienced some weight loss due to diarrhea, and I had to get my water weight back. So I don't use even creatine. I don't use whey protein. I just eat a lot of meat. I just ate some before we started the podcast. I eat meat throughout the day, lots of eggs, and I focus on my workout and my steroids.
And the meat has creatine too. So all these things are natural things that have all been extracted.
They have been extracted from the daily food that people take. packaged and maybe sold and branded and over marketed.
Overmarketed is
So that people, every time people come to the DM, they ask me, "Hi, Anto, I need your help. What's up, bro? I'm 60 kgs. I'm trying to bulk up and I have been stuck at 60 for like the last 6 months. Please suggest the most suitable supplements that I can use to bulk up." I'm telling them, welcome, bro. Now you're home. Now go to Health U. I need you to buy magnesium, zinc, omega-3 fish oils. Then go to a convenience store, buy sea salt, and bicarbonate of soda.
You're talking micronutrients. Not
Those
even
are the
macro.
only supplements I tell people to take. Yeah.
The stuff that we ignore easily.
Yeah.
We don't even realize.
You don't even realize. People are more focused on the idea behind the branding of supplements, but they do not dig deeper to find what made that man look that way. Yeah. So, it is a very, I call it that it's like a pandemic in the bodybuilding industry, because you'll even find experienced bodybuilders, guys who are almost 40 years. Up their head, they're like, bro, hii serious mass, hii ndio inanipea mass. Hii whey protein, hii ndio inanipea mass. You look at them and look like, you're like 40, bro. You don't even read. You're not even aware of what you're doing. Yeah.
So they are taking steroids, but they still believe that.
No, I'm talking about those guys who are innocently buying supplements out there,
okay.
thinking that supplements will take them from where they are to the person who they saw marketing that product. That can never happen.
Yeah.
Those guys are all on steroids. I'll tell you, a mere personal trainer in Kenya is now up to par with personal trainers in the US. A personal trainer who knows what they are doing currently, they are on steroids.
Yeah.
Probably testosterone and maybe a mild steroid like Anavar.
Yeah.
If you are using steroids and you're out there, you don't have to tell everyone you're using steroids the way I do.
Yeah.
You don't have to shout it everywhere. We are okay with you taking your steroids. Keep taking them. Do it with concern and know what you're doing. But then don't go promoting other products for which you did not use to attain that physique, telling people they will get to that physique while at night you take steroids. Back in your bedroom you take steroids. That's very unethical.
Yeah.
Yes, it's unethical. If you don't want to tell people you take steroids, just tell people I just eat my meat and eggs. At least if you give them half truths.
Yeah, it's better than a bull-faced lie.
Yeah, half truth is better than a bull lie. Yeah.
So, and going back to what you described as your usage, you said you don't use them responsibly. Is that the phrase you said is?
I don't use them responsibly.
You don't use them responsibly?
Yes.
But you use them with caution, you said.
Yes.
Explain what that means and how is that?
Okay. Let me give you an example. Someone who takes... I like giving the example of cigarettes, because steroids and cigarettes have the same mode of action that lead to your ailments or something. If today you smoked... You don't smoke, right?
No.
If I gave you 100 cigarettes today, you smoke them today, will you die today?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, no, you will not die today. But if I gave you 1 million cigarettes and told you have to smoke these one over 20 years,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
you will die, right? Same thing with steroids. The longer you use them and the higher the doses, if you use them without consciously listening to the side effects and mitigating them, you get those side effects, and I'll talk more about the side effects. Now, anyone who puts something in their mouth, they knowingly it's harmful, is that a responsible person? Is that someone who will seek advice from, like, would you want them to encourage you do the same thing?
Okay,
No,
what you're saying.
right?
Yeah.
Not responsible. Sindio? You can't put your hand on fire expecting to feel good. So putting your hand on fire will be responsible. That's what I'm doing at the moment. Putting my body on fire. That is irresponsible of me.
Okay.
But when it comes to the safe use of steroids, I am the standard at the moment. I am the only one who, I believe I'm the only one who can advise even anyone who thinks in Kenya they're the best at using steroids. I know all the side effects and I address them to the core. Now that is using them with concern and caution. Yeah.
Okay.
I know they're dangerous. I'm putting them in my mouth. Irresponsible. But, well, I know what I'm doing. So, caution with concern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're basically, I thought of the example of a skydiver. Skydiving is, I mean, you're literally jumping out of an aeroplane.
Yeah. Are you sure that parachute will open?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're taking your chances with it?
Yeah, but you're in this extreme sport where that's the game. So it's
Yeah, I remember there was a diver who jumped off a plane. There was a video going around on Twitter and IG. The parachute never opened up.
Yeah.
And the parachute opened up just like when he was like 50 meters from the ground. And even so, that fall would have been fatal.
Yeah.
Even the major parachute, I don't know if there's a major one and a smaller one in that bag. So there's the major one.
Oh yeah, big. And there's a tiny
and
one
the smaller one opened, but it was not like quite so big. So by good luck, he like fell on trees. So the trees are the ones that held him.
Yeah. So that's
Same
important to note.
To clarify, yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, there's risks we all take. Driving a car is a risk.
Let me tell you one thing.
Yeah.
The higher the risk, the higher the opportunity. So how far are you willing to go?
How far are you willing to go? That's a question that
How
I think
far are
you
you willing
answer
to
for
go?
yourself.
That is a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Now, I don't need anyone to answer that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially, you're saying that there is a way to use them in
In
the least harmful way.
I
Or
can say
in a non-harmful way.
Of course, a non-harmful way while mitigating the risks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mitigating means you're controlling them. Like you know what to expect. You have the medicine for that risk. Stand by, waiting for it to kick in so that you can take that medicine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now we go into something that happened not too long ago. Something that happened this week. I guess when this episode comes out, it'll be last week.
Okay.
Which was the influencer Joe Aesthetics, who is was he German? He was a German guy.
He's a German influencer
who just passed away. Of course, whenever we hear of these deaths of popular bodybuilders,
rumors fly all
that's
over.
immediately this is the conversation that comes up.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, a moment of silence for Joe Linda. Thank you. So, Joe died at a very young age.
30.
Yeah. Same age as I am.
Same.
We are all born 93s. So, it was astonishing for a guy who's 30 years old to die of an aneurysm. An aneurysm is a rupture of the artery. So, the reports are not yet out, and I would not like to rush into making conclusions. But one thing for sure with Joe, for the longest time you have known him, that guy has been lean.
It's forever. I can't think of a time. Only once when he had surgery.
Yes.
It was when he was not.
So, we use fat burners to be at that state of lean, like below 10% body fat percentage. Naturally, your body cannot let fat go off of that easily, and even water. So that guy was lean. He had dry muscles. So that guy he was surviving on a calorie deficit, of course. Secondly, he must have been using stimulants to keep burning fat.
Yeah.
One thing stimulants do, number one, they speed up your heart. Zinakimbiza roho. Like caffeine. When you take caffeine.
Drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah. Also, they dehydrate you. Stimulants. Anything that stimulates you, dehydrates you. Every time you take a cup of coffee, now you start feeling a dry tongue. Yeah? So, you can imagine dealing with the dehydration and a heart that is beating faster than normal for like 5-6 years, because that guy boomed during the COVID period. And yeah, I
would imagine.
And even before
that, yeah.
Even before
that,
he was still
chest.
Yeah, he was still huge, and so I'm estimating that guy has been lean for like 5 years. He had agreed that he said he had used steroids for 10 years. My friend, using steroids for 10 years is nothing. Can never kill you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But using things like insulin or diuretics for one day, they can kill you. Especially if you're on steroids. Yeah. Diuretics can kill even a person who is natural like you. Even insulin. Do you know people use insulin to commit suicide at times?
Wow.
They just stay in a fasted state, inject a lot of insulin, wanapata discomfort for like 2, 3, 4 hours. They had fasted for 24 hours. Eventually the insulin starts shutting them down, starts shutting the motor controls like the legs and the hands. Now like you're walking like a penguin looking for something. You'll have a hard time before you die, but insulin can kill you. A single shot of insulin can kill you. Another thing that is killing people in the bodybuilding industry who use steroids, high blood pressure. Especially if it was a condition that you had before, you are predisposed to that condition. Okay? And now you start taking steroids unconsciously without doing the lab work, tracking your blood markers and everything, so that you know, am I doing okay? Am I taking the right thing? What's the feedback of taking this gear? You see? So for Joe, I guess I know he must have been working with high class coaches. I know he must have been taking his blood work because he was aware he was having issues, and he even went off gear. So it was unfortunate, and this is just one of those cases where you're like, okay, this guy died too young. Is it steroids that killed him? No. Did he take COVID jabs? Yes. There were very many bodybuilders who died in 2020 and 2021 after taking COVID jabs. Leave alone bodybuilders, even normal people like you. They had blood clots in their brains, in their bodies, and everything. They even the hospitals in the US, they were saying they have never seen such large blood clots. You see a blood clot like that is like 15 centimeters. You can imagine the kind of obstruction it was doing in your blood and forcing your heart to beat blood harder through that blood clot. You see? Yeah. So, well, with Joe, I can't say really that it's steroids that killed him. I can't conclude like that.
So let's stay on that for a while. So even if we're not saying that, I'll just challenge you a bit. Even if we're saying that it's not the steroids that killed him, it's the things supporting the steroid usage is essentially what you're saying, because it's potentially it could, even if it's not him specifically, let's just say a person who died was using them. You're saying that the potential for things like insulin and all these other things that require that, because using the steroids puts your body in a place where you need a certain level of management. Like you said, it's a delicate balance of
100%.
This medicine. You're like a sick person. You're always...
Because most steroids are like, they are medicine. Most steroids are like, you find like, even those people who have HIV, they're given a steroid like D-bol so that they cannot lose so much body mass. Yeah. So kids, when they are born, when they are premature, they are given the steroids, oxandrolone, Anava. But it's administered in doses that, now I'm a bodybuilder. I don't have HIV. I'm not a premature kid. So what happens when I take that dose, that medicine in large quantity? So most steroids are basically medicines. Okay, carry on, please.
So putting your body in that vulnerable, say, position where you have to do so much management, can't we then conclude that steroids maybe indirectly kill? Because wouldn't be...
I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
Anytime you have a pre-existing condition, if you listen to people on IG, even Joe Linda's girlfriend, he says, I don't think it's 2 months or something. They said he had an aunt who died of a similar problem. Now, let me teach you about genetics and epigenetics. Your genetics are for purely survival and evolution. You see? There's this tendency of doctors telling people that, you're genetically disposed to be obese, be diabetic, to be fat. No, you are epigenetically, not genetically.
Explain.
Your genetics will always be there to make you make sure you have your continuity. Yes. Like today I came with my son. He has my genetics. Where did I get my genetics? From my dad. So that is survival and continuity of our progenies. Now, there is no day that your genetics will carry a gene that will give you a disadvantage. Because it's for survival.
Okay.
Yes. It's for survival. There's no day your genes will carry something that will give you a disadvantage that could kill you, because it's for your survival and evolution and continuity. Okay? So, but the thing is, you have lived with your parents. They have taught you how to cook. They have, you have seen them cooking. You have eaten their food for that long. Do you think when you get your home, now that you're building your home, do you think you'll want your food to be cooked any different from what they taught you? No.
Not really.
That is what epigenetics is. You see? They are putting you in the same conditions of feeding that they went through. And if they have maybe hypertension or diabetes, and you continue eating and living a lifestyle that is modeled on their lifestyle, you will probably get the same disease. That does not mean that you are genetically predisposed to be diabetic or hypertensive. Yeah. Whatever you put in your mouth, it's what makes you sick. Yeah. You put steroids in your mouth, they will eventually, if you're hypertensive, they will exacerbate that level of hypertension. And if you live for too long with high blood pressure, you damage your kidneys. Yeah. You damage your central nervous system. You get a stroke. You get a heart attack. Yeah. So steroids will just if your epigenetics predispose you to a certain condition like a heart attack, steroids will just nitro boost it. They'll bring the death closer.
Yeah. And I think that now it's good we've brought out that nuance, because I think that's where that's what people don't understand.
People don't understand. Steroids do not kill. They are not acute.
Because more often than not, I think people want a simple answer. And I think maybe the quickest way to say it is steroids kill, but I'm glad we've
whenever a person tells you steroids kill, just be gentle with them and ask, do you have anyone on record who was killed by steroids? They will tell you, Dallas McCaver, bodybuilders. Now you go online and pull those reports. Yeah. You will find that steroids had nothing to do with the death directly, but indirectly, they might have contributed. Yeah. But in the case of insulin and diuretics, I cannot speak for them. Those things will kill you with a single shot. Yeah.
Okay. So how about, for the sake of information, let's maybe you can mention some few compounds, steroid compounds, and their side effects. Maybe you can give us like the top 3 most common ones that are used, why people use them, and then now you can tell us the side effects.
Yeah, I'll pick a few. Now, one thing people need to understand is that the side effects of steroids, there is always that blanket side effects that you expect when you're taking a specific compound. Okay? And then you have your genetics and your tolerance. Now that will help you determine, like, there is a certain side effect maybe your body will be able to tolerate. So by the end of the day, they vary from person to person. Yeah. But there is always that blanket side effects that are expected even with minimal use. Yeah. So for the sake of being simple, I'll begin with testosterone. Yeah. Testosterone is a primordial hormone. You began producing it when you were born, and it gave you the male characteristics that you have to date. Yeah, testosterone is the simple most compound that your body understands, because it has been producing testosterone since time immemorial. Yeah, and testosterone is one of the hormones that your DNA will always instruct all men to produce for their survival. Yeah. People think that they just produce testosterone. Yeah, I was born with balls, I produced testosterone. No. All that instructions was given by your DNA. Yeah. When you produce testosterone, I said once it's in your body, it's converted to estrogen and dihydrotestosterone, its active form. And the little one that in a baki, it now goes towards anabolic function of making muscle and all that. So, now you see directly, testosterone does not even harm you. but it's the compound that it's producing on the sides now after being metabolized in the liver, the estrogen and the dihydrotestosterone, those ones now can become a little bit annoying. Yeah. Now estrogen is one of the hormones that is associated with mood, associated with everything bad, but people do not know estrogen is not as evil as people think. Yeah.
We all have it.
Yeah, we all have it. We need
balance,
it. Yeah. You need optimal levels of estrogen. Yeah. A woman needs optimal levels of estrogen and a man needs suboptimal, slightly below the maximum values and not at the base level. Yeah, so estrogen, for a person who is abusing steroids like me, I have a lot of it. And remember, I'm a man. I don't need lots of it outside the function that it helps. Estrogen is it's a neuroprotective. It gives you a good mood. People think estrogen is bad. Try being on a good mood when you have low estrogen, my friend. Yeah. Anytime you have low estrogen, you don't even feel like going to the toilet, and it's like unasikia, you feel like taking a piss, and you literally do not want to get off that chair or the bed to go to take a piss. Yeah. It's that bad. Yeah. You are unhappy, and it's like whenever people go for lab work, I check their lab values. It's from 0 to 34, then 34 to around 131. So for a man, I don't expect a man to be above 85. It's called nanograms per deciliter of blood. And I don't expect a man to be below 35. So a man has to be between 35 and 85. Anything below that, bad. Anything above that, bad. So if you have too little estrogen, and if you have too much estrogen, the side effects are the same. Except that when you have too little, you will not get things like gynecomastia is the growing of a breast tissue for a man.
Man boobs.
Now, estrogen has receptors on your nipple and even on the breast tissue. And when you have too much estrogen, more than the dihydrotestosterone, now you start growing man boobs. If you look at men outside there, men these days,
it's normal.
6 out of 10 men, they have tits and a big belly fat. They are trying to normalize that. That's very bad. That's not normal. That is not normal. You see? Any man out there, go to a place like I like giving uko in the villages, either kwa Masai or the Luyas. Those men eat a lot of food, but are they fat? Yeah, because they spend their time doing activities that do not predispose them to such conditions. You see? And they are not exposed to endocrine disruptors. But that will be a topic for another day. Yeah, I'll come discuss it another day. Steroids have receptors on the nipple. Your nipple has receptors for estrogen and DHT. When estrogen is up, DHT is low. Now you start getting tits. Yeah. So that is something that can be corrected, because when we are abusing steroids, we also get those big nipples and a lump behind the nipple. That's a breast tissue. And we have protocols to mitigate that. So the same protocols that we use to mitigate gynecomastia can be applied to any person out there, and they can be healed of their gynecomastia without necessarily going for surgery. Yeah. So estrogen, it can give people gynecomastia when it's too much. Yeah, let's talk. When it's too much, gives gynecomastia. Flips your mood. Yeah, because also estrogen works hand in hand with some new neurotransmitters like the dozens of satisfaction, like the what are they called, serotonin and the serotonin and the dopamine. Eventually, there is a way steroids they affect their reuptake and everything. So estrogen, when it's too high, gynecomastia, a bad mood, low libido. Yeah. Sometimes you can't even get an erection if it's too high. Yeah. You cannot sustain an erection through a sexual intercourse activity when it's too high. Yeah. Those are some of the side effects. Another side effect is water retention. It makes your muscles so supple. And that's why you see with men, it's easy to harden their muscles. With women, they are always, even a standard woman, like my wife works out. She had been working out for the last like 6 or 7 years. She's a woman. She has estrogen, lots of it. So her muscles cannot be as hard as my muscles. Yeah.
And that's why we always encourage women to lift as heavy as you possibly can, because you will never look like a man.
A woman will, even if she goes to the gym for all her life, a woman will never be as muscular as a man. Even if you want to be as a tomboy as much as possible, you can never look like a man.
Nope.
Ever, because you don't have the capacity, you don't have the hormones. Yeah. So, dihydrotestosterone, on the other end, that one is androgenic. It is not anabolic. Also, I forgot to mention, estrogen is anabolic.
Okay.
People think that estrogen does not give you muscle. It gives you muscle and supports it. Supports your brain. It supports angiogenesis, the generation of new blood vessels, for the delivery of nutrition and oxygen to your muscles, and even feeding the new muscle. Yeah. Estrogen it has a lot of advantages. People just don't know about it. Yeah. It even helps your sleep, helps in slowing down cognitive decline. Yeah.
Something, I don't know did you mention anything about too much testosterone? If you have too much testosterone, what are the likely...
You become muscular. So if you have too much testosterone, you're likely to have too much estrogen and too much DHT. So you'll just get the side effects of the estrogen and the DHT. But the testosterone in its primary form has no side effects. Just that thing is just anabolic. Nothing else.
Because in my mind, I'm like, too much. I would love to have too much testosterone.
Yeah, it's just anabolic.
But it sounds like now the things
that affect your mood are the side products of testosterone.
Okay.
The only thing testosterone does, only good things. It sustains your erections, gives you erections, gives you muscle. It's just that, not so much. Now, the DHT is the one that affects your mood. When you have dihydrotestosterone, you have a very good mood. Yes, you are confident. You have broad shoulders. You have your gushing jaws like a man. You have your beard. You become bald sometimes. You get erections. DHT gives you erections too, and it supports your sex function. The only downside with DHT is that makes you bald. I don't think there's so much about it. Also, sometimes DHT is good because it lowers a certain molecule that is called sex-binding globulin hormone. That molecule is like a universal receptor for all steroids. It's a universal receptor for the testosterone that is remaining once you have your estrogen and DHT. So it competes with, it binds to the testosterone. And once it binds to the testosterone, it reduces the amount of free-roaming testosterone. So DHT helps in suppression of that molecule because that molecule has affinity for DHT than testosterone. So you have testosterone, dihydrotestosterone, the active form. Yeah, the androgenic one. The other testosterone is simply anabolic, not androgenic. Yeah, androgenic means it gives you the male characteristics. Simply put.
Okay.
Yeah.
A comment on that for someone who might be listening and maybe because the conversation around testosterone is I think it's growing. I think we've zeroed in on testosterone generally in these conversations. Or I've had a lot of interesting conversations surrounding testosterone, the levels of testosterone overall for young men. Like if we were to compare the testosterone levels of young men in the past, let's say over the last 100 years, and we look at men currently, it seems as though there's the tendency for the
declining.
Yeah, it's declining.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of course, there's a lot of cultural discussions around it, political stuff, but overall, I think it's an important thing to point out because testosterone is not just good just because you grow big muscles, but some of the things you're mentioning have wide-ranging effects for just a regular man out there who's trying to get into fitness and doesn't realize why fitness has so much wide-reaching impact for your well-being overall.
Yes.
And especially because the older we get as men,
it declines
as well. And so things like lifting weights and getting your diet in check will help to mitigate, even if we're not going the the unnatural route, those things will still help somebody who's
For sure.
who, you know. So I think it's important for people to just keep that mental note as well.
Yeah, anytime you work out, even if you are a middle-aged man, 40 and above, your testosterone levels, if you had not been working out all your life, and you begin working out maybe at early 30s, the rate of decline of production of testosterone, because it declines with age. Any man, 30 years and above, testosterone production starts declining. Yes. It's normal. You're aging. It's like even if this bulb ages, it starts dimming, right? So it's your body now starts dimming out on testosterone, growth hormone, everything. So, by the time you're 40, the testosterone is not at like critical levels. The decline is not like just flat out. It's gradual, very, very slow. But if you work out and eat properly and predispose yourself to things like the sun, salt, and you walk barefoot, you just align your body in the right direction. You might not even notice the decline. Yeah.
And that's the ideal goal, I think, for anybody who is just seeking better quality of life. Honestly, yeah. If
you want a better quality of life, you have to work out. You have to resist weight. You have to be in motion. Yes. Because you will have a lot of testosterone. Once you have like a good amount of testosterone, you will have a good amount of estrogen. Testosterone and estrogen, like even the bone density, they retain your bones. They help sustain your bones. Yes. The bone density tends to like wither as you age. And that's why you have elderly people falling down because their bones are no longer as strong as they used to be. Even if an elderly person gets a fracture, they take too long to heal. Yeah. Not like when they were 19-year-old boys. Yeah. So, these hormones, they are very good. So, let's go on a hardcore hormone. Hardcore hormone that is a little bit hardcore. A derivative of testosterone. Yeah. Let me give an example of a derivative of testosterone like Dianabol.
D-ball.
Yeah, D-ball. D-ball is common. It's hated by many people and it's even loved by even more than those who hate it. Yeah. Reason being it has its downsides and its upsides. So D-ball is a direct derivative of DHT, dihydrotestosterone. Now we are tumetoka kwako, now we are on to me. We have gone to the enhancement side. So the dihydrotestosterone, the active form of testosterone, has been used to create and make very many other forms of steroids. So you'll always hear people say that is a DHT derivative. And even most steroids, especially orals, like almost all of them, almost like 8 out of 10, they are derivatives of the DHT, dihydrotestosterone. So they are made from a hormone that we already had in the body. So Dianabol. Dianabol is a very good hormone. It is estrogenic, meaning it aromatizes also, the same way testosterone does. And it has also, Dianabol does not become so androgenic. It does not give you the male characteristics. Dianabol is a very good, and it's an old school hormone. It was used by most old school bodybuilders, like Ronnie Coleman, Tom Platz. They have all admitted to using Dianabol. Arnold Schwarzenegger. They have all admitted to using Dianabol because Dianabol was even more popular in the 70s than the testosterone. The reason why testosterone was not popular because they did not have medicines to mitigate its side effects, like the estrogen side effects on the estrogen side. So they were avoiding it. So testosterone gained popularity in the 90s. It now surpassed Dianabol. But before then, Dianabol was God. Yeah. Dianabol, it gives you a lot of water retention. You have like muscles, but they are like, you have a lot, you have a wet skin. Do you remember I told you how to identify a wet skin? Like sahi, abuto your socks yako. Just do like this and lift the socks weight. You see? You see that socks imejichora mahali like hapo juu, the bladder where it was tight. That's how you identify a wet skin. Let me tell you one thing. Mimi hata nikishinda na socks hivyo, hata niitoe, my skin will just have no lines.
Okay.
When you take a nap, you're sleeping at night,
the lines
on the face. Yeah. For women, the lines that the bra forms on their skin. Yeah. That's how you identify wet skin. So Dianabol, any bodybuilder who's taking Dianabol, now they have those lines, and extreme ones, worse than any natural person could have. It gives you a wet muscle, and also it is not so quick to make muscle, so you have to use it for very long periods of time. Yeah. It aromatizes, converts to estrogen. So if you don't have ancillaries to mitigate the estrogen, side effects of estrogen, too much estrogen, now you'll begin consciously feeling the side effects of estrogen, like gynecomastia, low libido, and all that. All that is bad when it comes to estrogen. Dianabol, when you take it for like 4 weeks, doesn't give you any muscle. But you will look good. Because it increases the rate at which your muscle retains glycogen.
Okay.
So your muscle will be able to retain more water. And a muscle that has more water is aesthetic. Also, by then it's all, by 4 weeks, 5 weeks, it's like most of it is to water weight. Once you come off of it, you'll just susu all of it. Yeah. Dianabol begins to give you muscle now from the 6th week of use. So you have to use it at low doses, at extended periods. Remember, when you retain so much water, you start getting high blood pressure. So it's not very, very good. Also, the Dianabol, like any other steroid, except testosterone, it can give you dyslipidemia, a dysfunction of the lipids in your body. HDL, cholesterol, LDL, the lipids. They're supposed to be at certain ratios, right? So D-bol can those ratios can disrupt them. Yeah. So it's a derivative of testosterone. Now on to the third steroid. The most has the most reels on Instagram.
Thank you for listening to the Shujaa Fitcast. For more information and business inquiries, email us at shujaafitnesswarrior@gmail.com. Follow us on social media at Shujaa_fitness on Instagram, at Shujaa Fitness on Facebook and TikTok, and subscribe to our channel at Shujaa Fitness on YouTube. For audio versions of this podcast, check us out on Spotify, Boomplay, and Apple Podcasts. This show was recorded and produced at the Represented Studio in Nairobi, Kenya. Special thanks to Lucid for the background music.